April 2025 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. It's Romy here. We're opening up this month with the energy of the Fool. It's definitely going to feel very different this month. There's a sense of, I want to say, like repairing and getting back on track. You haven't lost any ground. What's gone on in this last few weeks is that you have gained wisdom and insight, and that's going to help you to make better, more informed decisions. And it's also giving you some courage and confidence to actually believe in yourself and to believe in what you feel is possible. Now, you're not supposed to know everything, right? So don't confuse some of that discomfort with a feeling that you've got some kind of incompetence in some aspect of your life. What I can say that is, if you feel that there has been some kind of deficit in some area, right, then April brings around almost like the bridge that you need to help open the pathway back up and open the dialogue back up. Now, we're in third house energy as we're in Aries season for you, which is definitely going to be challenging the way that you think. Now, on the 3rd, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node, and something incredibly fated lands, and you're sort of compelled. It's like the energy of that Fool is just pulling you forwards, and maybe you even feel like you're you're getting a bit of a shove to sort of take that next step. It's definitely a month where action is necessary. But your communication style is also changing. The type of conversations that you're having feel more progressive. You definitely need to be the initiator. And on the 4th and the 6th, there are some harmonious energies showing up that are going to help you to do just that. It's almost like you can see a way around some of the challenges that previously felt like they were complete roadblocks for you. As Mercury stations direct in Pisces, that also opens things up. And, not only are you the initiator, it may be that you also, through the month of April, Aquarius, have to be a little bit of a go-between between different individuals. What I really like is the way that you are responding to what continues to unfold in your world is with much more composure, with much more groundedness, and with less attachment. And I think there's a big theme for you in April about the forging of deeper connections, notably with yourself, but of course with others also, and not deep attachments. This is definitely a season of trusting in your gut. And as you approach that full moon in Libra on the 12th, we're going to see Venus stationing direct. So both of the planetary cycles of Mercury and Venus may well have stirred the pot and really brought a lot of things up that might have felt quite challenging. They may have brought through some real gifts for you. Regardless, this full moon brings a real culminating healing experience that helps you to feel like you can get back on track. Now, let me preface that by saying that Chiron, wounded healer, is striking an astrological conversation, a Kazemi in Aries at that full moon. So there's still some vulnerability that you're going to be feeling. There's still some sensitivity perhaps in the conversation and what comes to light, what's agreed and discussed. Here we've got the energy of the moon. Again, like I said, it's a season of needing to trust your gut, but there may be some fears or a little bit of anxious energy that's around you in the beginning part of April, even when things feel positive and progress. It's just almost like there's a sort of a response that your nervous system is still kind of intent on bringing up, sort of scanning for where the threats are. So you're going to have to work a little bit more intentionally and deliberately to ensure that you don't allow that to stop you. The fear, the doubt, the insecurity, it's all part and parcel of what the growth is about. And the expansion, as I said, that you're going to feel is so visceral. It's going to show you new possibilities, and it's definitely leading you to making new promises to yourself, okay? It's almost like, what do I want to be a part of? Who is it that I am becoming? Now, you may feel that there's a choice that feels a bit heavy, or that you're lacking some kind of information or critical knowledge in order to make that choice or decision. Okay, be mindful of that. Now, Juno retrograde in Scorpio on the 14th could bring up some insecurity. There's even envy, slight sort of jealous tendencies that could be triggered within you or within others towards you. We also have that day Saturn conjunct the North Node, so it's a little bit of a leveling karmic moment, right? So again, I think the right way to approach it is to be asking yourself, who is it that I'm trying to become? Because it's almost like the choices that feel heavy can actually be interpreted as something that is much lighter when you come from a perspective of this decision or choice will help me to be the version of me that I want to become. And when you kind of take that as your end point, as the reason, the why, the motivator, it changes things, and it definitely helps you to look a little bit differently. Now, there are going to be some things coming up deep from the subconscious with that moon energy, and you have an opportunity to revisit something that I think to be true in yourself. We understand it's about the integration of light and shadow. There's a lot of fire energy stirred up in April, and the healing is coming through, but there is still friction that comes along with it. Okay, so mindful that when Mercury moves back into Aries on the 15th, and then we have Mars moving back into Leo, you're revisiting, things that you were initiating previously back at the beginning of March and also the beginning of November. And this time you're more informed, as I said, right? But, you're still being challenged to kind of step up more. The Emperor's coming through, and it's like, okay, if we're doing this, Aquarius, and if we understand this new truth or this realization has emerged, how does that invite you to adjust like how you're showing up? And there's something about your ability to feel more capable, more confident, to set a new strategy, to come with more of an assertiveness. And if you've been a bit of a wallflower, or if you've had this kind of in and out energy, and if you've been lacking some self-belief or confidence around a particular area, you are being challenged to kind of really step forth with that archetype of the Emperor showing up for you. Through Aries season, it's a perfect energetic match, right? He brings that cardinal energy to initiate something. Things don't change until you change. And I do believe that you're sort of owning it, and it puts in motion a different type of plan. And that comes from a maturity. And, there's maybe even some healing that's going on strongly down the paternal line, particularly as we move out of Aries energy into Taurus, with it being your 4th house. We always have to champion ourselves in that particular season. And often things come up that are connected to how secure we feel, our sense of belonging. So these are going to be influencing and shaping some of the conversations that you're having. And you might be engaged or interacting with somebody, whether it be your partner, a boss, a father figure, and maybe there are some things that are coming to light that you're seeing tendencies and behavioral patterns, emotional responses that you used to have. You're noting and checking in with yourself to be acting and dealing with it differently, but you're not quite there. So there's still this sort of gap, but you're building the bridge. And April is one of these experiences where it's almost like it's helping you to shift out of the old way and into the new way more completely and more fully. You've got 3 majors coming through here, and then the challenge, but the way you're responding to the challenge is different. So I really like how this is showing up for you. Now remember, especially in 3rd house energy, you have to make some short-term plans or decisions that might not be your ideal, right? There might be a little bit of compromise here. But that this is temporary, and please know that it is temporary. You're not going to get stuck with something that you're having to accept or endure or put up with, okay? Eventually, all the waves will settle, and this is really teaching you how to relax and receive. Now, your Hanged Man comes in because of the way that you need to now look at something completely differently, all right? It may also mean that, you have a clear vision or an idea, or you get to the stage where you're absolutely ready to take action, and then you may come up against some sort of external block or delay that feels it's totally out of your hands. Again, how are you responding to that? Well, actually, you're showing me you're pretty relaxed about it. That's fantastic, because it shows you that actually you're in complete trust that this isn't taking anything from you that is meant for you. In fact, again, it's going to be an opportunity to actually just ensure that you've got the really strong foundations for things. Now, we do have a bit of start-stop because we've got that full energy and then the Hanged Man, but it also indicates to me that there's maybe just something a little bit about the sacrifice that needs to be made. And again, you know, you're maybe thinking that there's a little bit of time that you need to sit with in regards to that. If I go for this, if I do this, if I follow through, if this is something that's going to change for me, if it's already changed and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it, you know, what does that really mean? What does that really look like? Giving yourself the chance can make the decisions feel an awful lot less heavy. And that's what I really believe that the Hanged Man actually ends up doing. You know, we've got kind of rain coming down. It's like a clearance. There's also an emotional clearance. And remember, like, you know, there's almost going to be a stop sign, because if you think that something is healed, but actually what you're really doing is just trying not to think about it or suppressing it or avoiding it, then it almost feels like you can't get further until that is addressed and accepted. I feel that you will. I do think that full moon with Chiron coming in is just showing you. But if you see it and you sort of feel like you're running away and turning away from it, there's an indication that something else is going to slow down just to help you catch up with yourself and ensure that that gets dealt with. I do think, though, that you're going to have a lot more energy as the month builds. What you need to be careful of is just not burning out, because that, you know, sort of coalescing of fire can sometimes just make us feel super restless. We can get a bit frustrated, you know, even where there's some anger issues that haven't been dealt with. But what I'm really looking at as you come into when the sun shifts to Taurus is a sort of a claiming. It's just a claiming, right, I'm doing this. That's what I feel is happening, right? 19th, I'm doing this. Now, I will remind you, on the 20th, we've got Mars opposite Pluto. A little bit of volatility happening here, some clashing energy. You know, you might come to loggerheads with somebody. There might be something going on collectively, and it triggers you a little bit in terms of how it will impact and affect your personal circumstances. And yet, what we're seeing with that Ace of Wands is, again, the new beginning is almost set in stone. It's destined. It can't be taken away from you. So it's about your own thinking, and you know, you're being challenged in terms of the way that you think, but I think you are progressing so powerfully in terms of rewiring your own brain and your thought forms. And this idea, this opportunity, this experience, this unfolding that is coming in with the Ace is almost like a finally, yeah, there you are. I knew you were coming. It's like you could feel it. You could feel it brewing. You knew something was on, you know, changing and turning, and you're perfectly prepared, actually, regardless of the sacrifice or what it means, or knowing that the path won't necessarily be easy, but nonetheless, you are absolutely not letting go of this. And I think that that is a reminder, actually, of how powerful you are, and actually the struggles that you've gone through to get to a point in time where you fully trust yourself. And I think you will in regards to this. Actually, it's super powerful, especially as we approach the new moon in Taurus on the 27th. The overall energy for April is passionate, but it's also about grounded transformation. Yeah, and you know, that's where this Taurian energy can support you. Now, you might be making bigger choices and changes in regards to your foundations with that 4th house. So that could be where you live, where you work, places and environments that you spend time. And, you know, as you sort of consider, you know, how secure you feel, your sense of belonging, as perhaps you go back and reflect on the relationships or the divine masculine, feminine energy within you, some stark realizations are starting to emerge. You can't unsee it, you can't unknow it. You know, we still have the arc of eclipse. There might be some really surprising revelations that happen close to home. Somebody opens up, or you hear something, or you get the truth or the origin story in regards to something, and it feels like it blows your mind a little bit. But it also puts you firmly in a place where you are ready to do what's right and to claim that Ace of Wands. And, you know, that new moon in Taurus will feel like a very positive, grounded, progressive intention and promise that actually you know you're going to follow through with. Like, you just know it. Like, there's nobody that could dissuade you or tell you otherwise, regardless of how much things are getting stirred up around you. Venus then shifts back into Aries on the 30th. Again, this second chance to definitely look at what needs to be repaired or to reevaluate, but there's a getting back on track. And also, if some gifts have been brought through as a result of that cycle that you've just been through, knowing then what to do with them and how to direct that energy in a way that's super uplifting for you. So there's a lot of power available to harness in this month of April, and I see you doing it from a new emotional responsive place, and that is incredibly indicative of this much bigger shift that's underway for you. Now, remember what I said, if you're in deficit, you are discovering the bridge to open up the dialogue or the pathway through some short-term plans and decisions that makes all the difference and gets things back on track. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we're going to look at in the extended reading, you'll find the link below. I talk for another 25 minutes or so. We're going to look at a personal question and a relationship card for you also, Aquarius. Hope you'll join me if it's resonating. Just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, see where we're going to take this reading. We've got Knight of Cups. We've got another energy of the Hanged Man here. We've got the Empress and the energy of Judgment. A lot of majors showing up for you here. 8 of Swords, the Lovers. Please do check out my website, romywiser.com. If you're looking for a personal reading with me, you'll see all the services that I have available. That's another nice ace coming in. You'll also find my oracle deck, sacred titles, my journal, and my book. These are all creative products that are here to support you in your spiritual journey, right? Another energy of the Moon coming through for you there. Some nice abundance cards showing up. I think you've actually got a really unique opportunity in April to gain ground and to build security. But there's going to be a lot of having to lean into your own intuitive knowing and gut instincts in regards to moving forward, right? Let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle and see how it wants to join this conversation. We have Golden Ribbons of Light. We have Root Energy, Built from Love. We've got the Wishing Tree, nice. We've got Alchemize the Ache. We have Soothe Your Soul. And the Solar Plexus Energy, love that for you. Okay. Right, a couple more oracles just to explore for the month of April for Aquarius. What do we have here? Right, you've got the energy of Sagittarius, Acclaim, and an Animal Spirit card. And what do we have? You've got the Elephant. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to connect with you again next month. I hope you'll join me on the extended. The link is below. Check out the website for all of my services and ways to work with me. And have a beautiful month ahead. You take care. Bye.